Jasmine Crockett is just the worst.
My source tonight sits on the House Oversight Committee, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. And thank you for being here, because now this clock has started with the president signing this bill behind closed doors tonight. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, was asked earlier today about releasing everything. She repeatedly said, "We will follow the law." Do you expect that you'll get all of these documents by December 18th?
I do not. Don't expect transparency.
The president said tonight he thinks it's going to end up being really embarrassing for Democrats. Are you worried that it's going to be embarrassing for
I'm
your
not
party?
worried at all. I can tell you one thing. I ain't never worried about my name being in the Epstein files. So that's one thing that we can talk about.
Okay, so my first little quip is to her comment, oh, you can check, I never had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, and that's something we can talk about. Well, let's talk about it. You weren't elected to political office until 2020. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2019. So it kind of would make sense that since you weren't in the political sphere prior to him being arrested, obviously you're not going to have connections with him. That's like Germans in today being like, well, I'm not a Nazi. Obviously, you were born in like 1970, 1980, decades after the Nazis ended. Like, secondly, though, and probably more important, on like a large scale, is her attempt to act as if she is the most honest person ever, and that the Democrats are just so terribly honest and they just want to get to the bottom of the truth, when we know factually that it was almost entirely Democrats funneling taxpayer dollars, the money we worked for and was taken from us by the government, funneling billions of those dollars into NGOs that were their family members, their friends, and almost certainly getting kickbacks in the fucking process. But this woman wants us to sit here and act like we just forgot all that happened like 7 months ago.
One Democrat who's been on defense over Jeffrey Epstein is Stacey Plaskett. She represents the Virgin Islands. She was texting with Jeffrey Epstein the day of Michael Cohen's hearing. Her questions pretty closely followed the text messages between the two of them to ask about Rona Graff, Trump's longtime assistant. You were defending her today, or in recent days, yesterday, and you talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually a Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record?
So now we get to the real meat and potatoes of the fucking issue. This woman just got done talking about how she just wants the truth to come out and blah, 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 blah. And then immediately, when asked, well, you know, tried to throw some folks under the bus saying that they took money from a Jeffrey Epstein. And then she wants to turn around and be like, well, I didn't say the Jeffrey Epstein. I said a. What is the intended implication there? What is the hope? What is the point of saying that? If you knew that that wasn't the Jeffrey Epstein that we're talking about, why even say it? And if you didn't know, well, you didn't do your due diligence, and you just ran out there and defamed an individual trying to get political points. But this woman wants us to believe that she is just in pursuit of the truth, when she's not even honest her fucking self. When she's outright telling us that she doesn't do the due diligence to confirm the factuality of the things that she fucking says. And she literally is going to sit here and be like, well, I said a Jeffrey Epstein, not the Jeffrey Epstein. Trying to cover her tracks, trying to obfuscate her true intentions, while fucking saying that she is the truth teller. And these Democrats, you know, there are countless Trump deranged, neoliberal, neo-Marxist, Antifa, extremists, terrorists. There are millions in this country that will see her say that guy took money from Jeffrey Epstein, and they will never pay attention to what was said after that. They will never pay attention to the correction. And a year from now, they will be saying, that guy was connected to Jeffrey Epstein, not even fucking realizing that it's not the same Jeffrey Epstein. Because they continuously ignore every fact that doesn't fit into their worldview. Every possible fact that doesn't confirm their false reality is ignored completely. We saw it all the way back at the beginning of this entire fucking Trump saga with the whole decent, fine people on both sides. With the constant demand of him to renounce white supremacy or white nationalism, even though he had already repeatedly renounced both. Repeatedly. But somehow still to this day, there are people voting for Democrats that are like, oh, I didn't know that he said that. Because you, as a voter, didn't do your due diligence to fact check what you were told by the media. Because you couldn't take an extra 2 or 3 minutes out of your life to go and watch a little bit more of that speech to get context. Nope. You fucking swallowed that little fucking 30-second clip, hook, line, and sinker, and then let it drag you around for the next fucking decade. And here we are, still, Democrats doing the same bullshit. They're the ones that wanted to talk about deep fakes and cheap fakes and all this. When the things that they call deep fakes and the things that they call cheap fakes were actual just footage of what happened. And then they cut up interviews with Trump. They cut up January 6th. They obfuscated the truth, lied, knowing full well that their base would never pursue anything further because the lie that they told fit the worldview preference of their base. And these folks are online constantly talking about how, oh, Trump voters are fucking stupid, blah, 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 redneck, blah, blah, blah. Really? Well, why is it that we are the ones that actually, took the extra couple minutes to get the actual full context of things in the instance of the very fine people on both sides comment? Why is it that we all know what was actually said, and you people are still going around saying that he never denounced these things? The footage is widely available online. All it takes is a little fucking boom, boom into the YouTube or the Google, and boom. You can get the whole speech, and you can see that he clearly denounced white supremacy and white nationalism, I think like 3 times. And these fucking people are still out here spreading these lies, telling us they're the truth tellers. The politicians still out here saying that they're just after the truth, while at the same time lying, if not blatantly, then at least by omission. And then trying to cover up their tracks for it.
On the people that
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Just so that people understand, when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen, because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled. And that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies.
No, ma'am, you don't just go out and tell lies. You tell lies and leave yourself an opening so that you can try to backtrack out of it when you get caught. It's actually worse than just a regular ass liar, because you're a liar that plans, which is fucking wild that you want us to believe that you're just this great fucking person that, oh, I just love the truth and stuff, blah, blah, blah. You, ma'am, are a fucking snake. You are the slimiest weasel of fucking slimy weasels to sit here and intentionally obfuscate the truth to try and imply that someone did something that they fucking didn't. And then when you get exposed for it, to try and walk it back and pretend that you didn't know. This is the exact type of behavior that you see from like a snotty 10-year-old that likes getting their sibling in trouble, and from narcissists and sociopaths, from people that try to manipulate you. Like if you've ever had a close encounter, a continued close encounter with somebody with any sort of personality disorder, whether it be psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism, BPD, whatever it may be, you should be able to recognize this behavior, the behavior that she is displaying, engaging in right now. And if you can't recognize that behavior, well, you're probably still trapped in that toxic ass relationship. The fact that people on the left can't recognize this behavior is yet more evidence that it is in fact kind of the modus operandi, or the new default thought form of the left to express themselves to the world in ways that are indicative of personality disorders. Like, this shit is wild. It's actually wild how blatantly she tried to defame this dude, and how she is now like a child or a narcissist trying to backtrack her way out of this lie. But they're supposed to be the moral arbiters of good. These are the people we're supposed to trust and believe in and blah, blah, blah. They're the ones that want to save us, as they lie to our fucking faces and then lie about their fucking lies. Come on, y'all. Hey, so it seems like these social media companies aren't too fond of my particular opinions, and it seems pretty apparent that they are trying to minimize my outreach. So if you like the content, hit the follow button, check back in daily because I'm posting almost every day. I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.